Sometimes, it's not the light that saves us, but the crack that lets the light in. We spend so much time trying to hide our broken pieces, polishing the surface, pretending we're whole, when in truth, every scar, every fracture is a doorway through which the universe breathes into us. Carl Jung once said, "The shadow is the part of ourselves we'd rather not see." Yet, it is within that shadow that our greatest light waits, quietly, patiently, until we're ready to open. So today, don't hide the cracks. Look closer, and maybe you'll see that they've been shining all along. We all carry cracks. Some we can see, and some we keep hidden behind quiet smiles. They come from the moments that broke us, the words we never spoke, the losses that carved hollow spaces in our chest, the nights we pretended we were fine. But what if those cracks were never mistakes? What if they were openings, tiny doorways through which the universe breathes through us? You see, the light doesn't choose perfection. It finds its way through the imperfect, through the undone, through the fragile. Maybe that's why the most compassionate people are the ones who've known pain, the healers who were once wounded, the lovers who've been left, the souls who learned to hold others because no one held them. Jung believed we don't become whole by ignoring our wounds. We become whole by embracing them. Every crack tells a story. Every scar holds a lesson, and every broken piece is proof that you were strong enough to keep going. The mirror, light of truth. Look into the mirror for a moment. Not the one that shows your face, but the one that shows your truth. You see, the mirror never lies. It reflects exactly what stands before it. The smiles, the cracks, the shadows behind your eyes. Most people can't look too long. They look away when they see something real, something raw, something unpolished. But not you. You've learned to face yourself, even when the reflection hurts. There were nights you stared into that invisible mirror, wondering who you had become and whether the person staring back was still you. You've watched yourself break, through loss, through disappointment, through pain, and yet, somehow you kept showing up. You kept standing there eye to eye with the reflection of your own fragility. And in that brave stillness, something beautiful happened. You began to see not what was missing, but what was true. The mirror became your teacher. It showed you that authenticity is not perfection. It's honesty. It's standing unguarded in front of your own flaws and saying, "Yes, this is me, and I'm still worthy of love," Jung once said. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. That's what you've done. You've made the darkness conscious. You've turned your gaze inward not to judge, but to understand. The light that moves through you is not the blinding kind, it's the soft, steady glow of awareness. You see yourself honestly, even when it hurts. You recognize your contradictions, your doubts, your unfinished edges, and yet you hold them gently, like a mirror holds an image. You don't deny your shadow. You invite it in, because you know that truth without shadow is just illusion, and self-love without honesty is just vanity. The mirror doesn't flatter. It reflects, and that reflection, that raw, unfiltered honesty, is the beginning of transformation. You've stopped asking, "How do I fix myself?" and started asking, "What is this trying to teach me?" You understand now that truth doesn't destroy and it frees. You are the mirror. Your light is awareness. Your crack is honesty. And through it, truth pours like morning light. The universe breathes through you because you allow it to see itself clearly. You are not the reflection you see. You are the light that makes seeing possible. The stone heart, light of strength. Feel the weight of a stone in your hand. Cold, solid, silent. A stone doesn't rush to prove its strength. It simply is. It has survived rain, wind, fire, and time. It carries the memory of endurance. You too are that stone. Life has tested you, not gently, but completely. You've been cracked open by betrayal, shaped by loss, and carved by pain that no one truly saw. Yet, through all of it, you never shattered. You absorbed the impact, stayed quiet, and waited for the storm to pass. You learned that silence is not weakness. It's the language of resilience. Where others break, you become still. Where others seek escape, you find center. You are the kind of soul that doesn't crumble. You transform pressure into patience. The stone heart isn't cold. It's tempered. It remembers every blow, Every moment when you had to pretend to be okay just to keep moving. There were days when even breathing felt like a battle, but you did it anyway. Not loudly, not dramatically, but quietly, consistently, completely. That's your power. The world often misunderstands you. They see calm and call it distance. They see strength and assume you never hurt. But you do, deeply. You've just learned that your emotions don't need to be performed to be real. Your crack, the one you try to hide, isn't a sign of breaking. It's the proof of how much you've endured. When light enters it, it doesn't just reflect when it softens, because strength without softness is just stone. But strength that knows tenderness, that's divine. The universe breathes through your endurance. You are the mountain that holds steady while others seek shelter. Beneath your shade, you remind the world that strength isn't about never falling apart. It's about rebuilding quietly again and again, until the cracks become part of your design. You are the calm in chaos, the stillness in the storm, the heart that beats beneath layers of time. Your light is the light of strength, silent, unwavering, eternal. The stone heart does not resist the world. It endures it, transforms it, and in its silence teaches what real power looks like. You are that power, grounded, ancient, and endlessly alive beneath the surface. The glass jar. Light of hope. Imagine holding a glass jar in your hands. It's delicate, thin enough that light passes through but strong enough to hold it. Once, it was whole, flawless, transparent, simple. Then life happened, a fall, a crack, a shatter you never saw coming, pieces scattered, dreams you once protected, words left unsaid, love that slipped through your fingers before you could hold it tight. You thought it was over then, that once broken, you could never shine again. But hope has a strange way of finding you in the dark. Slowly you began to gather the pieces, not to erase the cracks, but to build something new around them. You learned to live carefully, not out of fear, but out of wisdom. You understood that fragility isn't failure. It's proof that you've risked being open, because only what's open can break, and only what's broken can let the light through. The glass jar holds the softest light, not because it's unbroken, but because it knows what it's like to be shattered. Every crack tells a story, of loss that taught patience, of endings that led to renewal, of nights that whispered, "Stay, just a little longer." You stayed. You kept holding the light even when your hands trembled, even when no one noticed. That's what makes your light so rare. It's not the kind that blinds. It's the kind that guides. The universe sees your courage, not in your perfection, but in your persistence. You've turned fragility into faith. You know that beauty isn't found in flawless things, but in broken things that refuse to stop shining. And when people look at you now, they see gentleness emerge, but they don't know how much strength it takes to remain gentle in a world that wasn't kind to you. You, the glass jar, are a quiet miracle, fragile, yes, but infinitely brave. Your crack is hope itself, the opening through which light finds its way back in. You remind us that being breakable is the price of being alive, and that hope, no matter how faint, is always enough to begin again. So, keep holding the light even if it flickers, even if it trembles, because that trembling light might be what guides someone else home. The clay pot, light of healing. Imagine a clay pot sitting quietly in the sunlight. It's old, its surface uneven, its edges cracked. Once it was perfect, smooth, symmetrical, whole. But perfection never tells stories. Cracks do. Time, pressure, and life itself have touched it, left marks that cannot be erased. Only understood you too are that pot. Once, you believed healing meant erasing the past and becoming someone untouched by pain. But now you know, and healing is not about going back. It's about becoming through what happened. Each scar, each fracture became a place for light to rest. You stopped hiding the broken parts. You stopped pretending you were whole. Instead, you chose to fill your cracks with gold. Not real gold, but something even rarer. Forgiveness, compassion, understanding. You see, the clay remembers the hands that shaped it, and so do you. The pain that once molded you didn't destroy you. It refined you. In Japanese art, they call this kintsugi, the art of mending with gold. The philosophy is simple. The breakage becomes the beauty. The flaw becomes the feature. And that's exactly what you've done. You've turned your pain into wisdom, your wounds into lessons, your vulnerability into art. You no longer fear being seen, because now every line, every imperfection, tells the story of someone who refused to stay broken. The world may still see the cracks, but you see constellations. You understand that healing is not a single moment. It's a lifetime of soft choices. Choosing to forgive. Choosing to let go. Choosing to trust that not everything needs to make sense for it to make peace. And slowly, piece by piece, you've rebuilt yourself. Not as you were, but as you were meant to be. There's a calmness in you now. The kind that doesn't come from perfection, but from acceptance. You've learned to sit with what hurts, to breathe through what stays unsolved, to honor your story instead of editing it. Because healing isn't about forgetting, it's about remembering with grace. You, the clay pot, are living proof that beauty and pain can coexist, that the heart can be both broken and full. The light that shines through you now is not the same as before. It's warmer, wiser, softer. You are not what happened to you. You are what you chose to become because of it. You are the clay pot, mended, golden, eternal. Your light is healing. And through you, the world learns that broken things can still hold the sun. Maybe all this time, you weren't meant to be perfect. Maybe you were meant to break. Because it's in the breaking that life finds a way in. It's through the fracture that your soul starts to breathe. You've met yourself in so many forms, as the mirror that reflected truth, the stone heart that endured, the glass jar that dared to hold light, and the clay pot that learned to heal. Each one of them wasn't just an image, it was a version of you, a lesson, a reflection of a truth you already knew, but had forgotten. The mirror taught you honesty. That real strength begins with seeing yourself clearly, without pretending, without filters, without lies. The stone heart taught you resilience, that even in silence there's courage, that being still in the storm doesn't mean being numb. It means trusting that the storm will pass. The glass jar taught you hope, that light doesn't need perfection to exist, only a space to shine through. And the clay pot taught you the art of becoming whole again. Together, they tell a story, not of someone who has it all figured out, but of someone who has felt it all. The world celebrates those who look flawless, who hide their cracks behind smiles and filters. But the truth is, the most beautiful souls are the ones who've learned to shine because of their flaws, not in spite of them. You see, life was never about staying unbroken. It was always about what you do after the breaking. Some people close themselves off. They seal every crack, afraid that others will see too much. But others, like you, they let the light in. And once that light enters, it doesn't just stay. It expands. It spills out. It touches everything around you. That's what real healing is. Not just surviving your pain, but transforming it into something that helps others survive theirs. Maybe the universe doesn't choose the strongest ones after all. Maybe it chooses the ones who are open, the ones whose hearts cracked wide enough for love, empathy, and wisdom to flow through. Because perfection doesn't connect us, pain does. Not the pretty kind we quote online, but the real kind. The sleepless nights, the silent prayers, the tears that never made it to anyone's shoulder. That's where compassion is born. That's where truth lives, and that's where you find your light. The mirror shows you who you are. The stone reminds you you're stronger than you think. The glass teaches you to believe again, and the clay teaches you to love what you've become. So if you're listening to this right now, maybe it's not by accident. Maybe something inside you was ready to remember that your cracks are not mistakes. They're your coordinates. They're how the universe finds you. The next time you look at yourself and see the marks of what you've been through, don't hide them. Touch them gently. Whisper to yourself, "This is where the light got in." And when you walk back into the world, walk differently. Not as someone trying to be fixed, but as someone who finally understands that being broken was never the end of the story. It was the beginning of becoming real. Because the truth is, the universe doesn't need perfect vessels. It needs open ones. It needs hearts that have been cracked open wide enough for light to pass through, for love to move freely, for wisdom to grow where pain once lived. And if you've been through darkness, if you've been cracked, broken, scarred, then you, my friend, are exactly what the universe needs. The light that shines through you now is not ordinary. It's the kind that has seen shadows, the kind that knows sorrow, the kind that has learned that beauty is not the absence of pain, but the courage to keep shining through it. So don't be afraid of your cracks. Don't rush to hide them. Don't try to erase them. They are proof that you lived. And somewhere, someone right now needs your kind of light, the kind that has depth, the kind that has scars, the kind that has truth. Because every mirror needs reflection, every stone needs softness, every glass needs light, and every clay pot needs gold. You are all of them, and together you are whole. This is the light that enters through the cracks, and this is who you really are.